I'll call this meeting of the Urbana Public Television Commission meeting to order. The time is 12:06. Date is March 13th. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Cinder?
Here.
Commissioner Wadsworth?
Present.
Commissioner Fuller?
Present.
Commissioner Inskeep?
Present.
Commissioner Polk indicated she would not be able to make the meeting. Commissioner Mancuso said she would be late, as did Commissioner Folk, or Chair Folk. So we have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any modifications to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the minutes. Does anyone see any corrections that need to be made in the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Correspondence. Jake?
There was no correspondence to the commission this past quarter.
Thank you very much. Staff report.
Yes, thank you. First off, I received literally hours ago an email from the American Community Television Organization concerning the CAP Act, which is intended to allow PEG stations to redirect PEG money towards operating expenses as well as capital expenses. I would hope to be able to include the full text of the act, which has just been amended before reintroduction for the next meeting of the UPTV Commission. I'll try to send it to all of the commissioners prior to that time. This just arrived too late for me to do it. They're trying to get Senator Kirk's signature on the bill as well right now. So anyway, that's what's happening legislatively at the moment, and that would be a great step forward for PEG stations if that actually happens. A couple of programming notes just in general. Tonight at 5:30, UPTV will be broadcasting live a town hall from the City Council chambers here featuring State Representative Carol Ammons and Senator Bennett. That'll run from 5:30 till we think about 7. I would encourage people to watch online or on their tube. Next Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we will have a live presentation of the RFPs for 200 South Vine in downtown Urbana. That will be coming up next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We've been doing a lot of public meetings and such. Jason recorded, and we have broadcast several times, a public forum that was held at the Civic Center by the IDOT Traffic Stop Data Task Force. Very interesting forum, and we're continuing to air that right now. We are starting to run the Business and Development Luncheon that was took place a week and a half ago. We've been running new programs from the League of Women Voters, new programs from the University-wide Friday Forum lecture series. We filmed an extension program on pollinators, bees and the like. And we actually had a number of people get a hold of us following the actual event asking when we would run it because they ran out of space. That people were literally unable to get into the room where they were doing the presentation. So we've had that on a few times, and we were happy to provide that as well. We also broadcast live and recorded, or we didn't broadcast live, but we recorded for broadcast and are airing the Urbana Police Department Awards ceremony from last week. And we've reintroduced a new series of Cops Corner programs now being hosted by Preston James. And he's taking a somewhat different approach to the program, but it is a program based on improving relationships between police and the community. And we're very happy to be a part of that, and I think it'll be a very profitable and interesting program. Preston's well known in town and a good speaker, so I think we're looking for a lot. That airs regularly every Saturday morning at 8:45 a.m., and will also be seen at various times throughout the week. Jason has just completed a month-long session with the SPLASH program, students from the Urbana Middle School. He had 13 students this year, which is more than twice the amount that we've had in previous times. And they actually produced a full newscast this time, as opposed to just ID spots. So we'll be airing that today at 4:20 p.m. and tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. and 4:45 p.m. We also recorded and are broadcasting the fashion show by Wiley Elementary School with fashions and costumes created by the students. It's an amazing little 12-minute piece, and I would heartily recommend you catching it if you have a chance to do so. We've been approached by Restoration Urban Ministries. They'll be beginning a new hour-long weekly broadcast as soon as we can find a time slot that will work for everyone. We continue Urbana High School sports coverage. Jason is providing assistance once a week to the UHS broadcasting team. Baseball season will begin March 24th at Urbana High. And they have also been invited to broadcast 2 super sectional games in the basketball tournament. So Jason will be assisting with that as well. We had a very interesting one-off program produced by agricultural scientists at the university called The Sounds of Science, and it was a fascinating concept in which they presented scientific data to musicians, and then the musicians generated musical compositions from the data. It's an hour-long program. I'm going to keep running it as much as possible because I think everybody should have a chance to see it. It's a fascinating program. We've begun not just a Mandarin version of the Malayalam health show in the morning, but we also now have a Spanish edition. Dr. Zachariah is going great guns on his multilingual presentations. We participated in a co-production of the Martin Luther King Jr. Countywide Celebration along with CGTV. The CU Immigration Forum program has started up again, Ricardo Diaz and Tom Garza. The format has changed. They're now doing a radio program, and we're recording the radio program and broadcasting that so they can multi-purpose their presentation and reach a wider audience with that. That's still on Friday evenings at 6:30 p.m. And we have a new comedy series from some fellows in Danville called Park Rangers of the Chesapeake, and you will only see it late at night. Over the holidays, we took a few weeks off from community access production. That allowed Jason time to do some wiring projects around the council chambers and in the UPTV station facilities. It allowed me to work on restoring the broadcast library in the new Nexus. We upgraded very seamlessly and very quickly, but we had subsequently to restore a lot of data that we had transferred out. In the meantime, we recorded holiday greetings from staff. We did a New Year's Eve countdown and used the last week of the year to do sort of a retrospective of the best of 2014 from UPTV. So we got some final use out of some timely programs. We're at 437 followers on Twitter, 455 friends on Facebook. We've now issued nearly 1,600 tweets regarding UPTV programs. I also have a note from Marilyn Kay from the LEAP program, and it says, thank you so much for your excellent help with taping the September 23rd workshop at the Urbana Free Library and for arranging for television coverage. Dyslexia Workshop Perspectives from Some Experts has had over 1,000 hits on YouTube, and the numbers keep growing. The television coverage was also a great help in reaching out to the public. We have been amazed at the response from the public and want to thank you for all that you do for your community, our community, excuse me. And that's yours truly, Marilyn Kay. So we were pleased to get that as well. Jason will be attending the regional conference of the Alliance for Community Media, our trade organization, which will be in Milwaukee again. And I'm delighted to be able to report that we discovered this week that we have been awarded 2 awards from the Best in the Midwest Video Competition. We got a Merit Award in the Professional Documentary Feature category for the Urbana Hackberry Tree feature produced by Jason. And we won the Significant Community Program Award for the second time in 2 years for Stephen Saleta Speaks About His Termination. And that was also a production of UPTV staff, and that means primarily Jason Liggett. So we're very happy about that as well. We have a clips reel to show you now.
Do appreciate our relationship and how it's grown over the years, but what's always connected through community and what's happening in the community. And I really noticed how you cared so much about our community.
Welcome to UMS News Flash. I'm Freddie Marie.
And I'm Jasmine Dyson. Bryson Tatum will join us for a special report later in the hour.
Our top story tonight is the Windsor Road reconstruction project. Abria Burks has more.
The responsibility of the rest of us is clear. It is to identify and expose the reckless lies of warmongers and never to collude with them. It is to reawaken the great popular movements that brought a fragile civilization to modern imperial states. Most important, it is to prevent the conquest of ourselves, our minds, our humanity, our self-respect. If we remain silent, victory over us is assured, and a Holocaust beckons.
I think I'm going to pour myself some wine now.
Good job.
Oh. Yeah, there's the top. Alright, I'm going to tell myself when to stop. That's probably good enough. Just a little, I don't need a lot. Yep, right down. Do you want some wine traps or did you already get some?
I got some.
Alright.
The waiter already brought it.
Perfect.
Good breadstick.
I'm Officer Preston James with the Urbana Police Department. Today, we're going to talk about community involvement from 3 different levels. First level we're going to address is from the faith-based group. The next one would be the community activist involvement group. And then we're going to talk about how the police department is being involved in community engagements.
In the spirit of Hillary Clinton, let me wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. And News from Neptune, of course, we're all about love, albeit tough love.
Look out for the other one! Look out for him! Yep. That's Rick. He's back. Rick is back.
And it goes to Abram. Abram for a three. He got it! Abram Washington opens the game up with the three!
What a way to start the game.
Oh!
Ladies and gentlemen.
Wow!
That was a deep tray
Deep
ball.
three to start the game, and a timeout called by Urbana.
I should add that was Abe, who has been on the broadcasting team for years, and that clip was actually picked up by the local commercial news programs in town and aired on at least one, possibly two stations on the evening news. And obviously one of those clips was mislabeled. That was news from Neptune and not America Recycles. So, I'd be happy to take any questions.
The second to last one, was that the one that you were referring to, late night?
Yes.
Okay, and what's it about?
It's a comedy sketch program based on the lives of park rangers.
Okay.
They live in Danville. They've got a park nearby. So.
All right, and I guess I'll take the chair or whatever. Moving on to audience participation. If there's anyone out there that we can't see, flash the lights or something. No, nothing. Okay, then moving on to unfinished business. I haven't seen anything regarding the policies.
Yeah, there's really no progress to report specifically. We did distribute the first draft at the membership meeting in December, when we had no comments from membership about that. I'm still in the process of working on the format because I don't want to post it until it's in the format that is final, and quite frankly, we just haven't had time to do that in the past couple of months. I will note that at the last meeting, I said that I would be posting it on the urbanapublictelevision.org website. But I've learned since that we are unable to post PDFs on our website because it's the cheap version. So what we'll do is we'll post a link to it, but it will actually be posted on the Urbana City website. And I expect that to happen sometime within the next month or two. So.
Okay, and moving on to new business, equipment purchases.
Jason will participate as a disembodied voice.
So you have the sheet there about equipment purchases. Obviously, the previous quarter had some larger items that we purchased in the Nexus. So this quarter, nothing too major. We got a new background for our mini studio off to the side, so that's very cool. And if you watch any of our programs, actually a couple of the ones featured there, you could have seen the new background that we're using in that room. Also a couple more camcorders that we purchased. Those are just replacing some of our older camcorders that we have. The card in the shoulder bag goes along with that. Are there any questions?
This is Dale, Jason. I noticed those camcorder prices are really low. What are the features of that camcorder?
Yeah, so first of all, they're low. They're normally priced at $299. B&H Photo Video, who we ordered those from, were running, I think, a 2-month-long special to where you got $100 off automatically if you purchased one of those. So those are down to $199 for that reason. Features of those, you can record in full 1080p, 1920 by 1080. It's they have a microphone input. They have obviously a headphone jack, somewhat similar to the ones that we have now, minus the hot shoe on top of that, which would allow us to put external mic or external flash kit on those. So I think that's kind of the difference between the price there.
Thank you. Those sound like really good buys.
Yeah, they were. I was very pleased.
No other comments on that? Okay, moving on to public input policies. And this is a proposed policy for public input to the commission at our regularly scheduled, well, at all of our meetings, not just our regularly scheduled meetings. And I'll just briefly go through them so that if anyone has any comments on any ones, then they can do that. So the audience participation is included in each meeting as item 7 to follow the staff report. Speakers are given 5 minutes of uninterrupted time and may request additional time, which the commission may or may not grant. There are no reduced time limits for public input based on the number of members of the public seeking to provide input. Public input is, I'm sorry, I'm going a little fast. Did anyone have any comments on those so far? Okay. Number 4 is public input is not limited to topics germane to the agenda. And I think we discussed that based on the fact that UPTV is kind of all about getting diverse opinions out there. Number 5 is no member of the commission is obligated to respond to anything contained in a person's public input. My impression is that does not preclude us from responding, but we are not obligated to. Is that okay? Anyone have any comments before we take a vote? All right.
Am I to understand that this is just a procedural thing so that all the commissions have a posted version of this so that we all have something out there? Okay.
I'd say it's partly procedural, but also, I mean, this is establishing the rules that we have. So we didn't
It's
really have
mandated by state law as part of the Open Meetings Act to have each commission have a policy stated in this respect. So.
All right, so I guess I'll call for a vote on, do I have a motion to approve the proposed input policies?
Yes, I move that we approve and adopt the policy as drafted.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, they're approved as drafted.
Thank you. I have one quick question. I'm not quite sure how Roberts deals with things. I neglected to mention something in my staff report. Is there a way to do that now?
I think that as a commissioner's comment, one of us could ask you.
Okay. What are you talking about?
Yeah. That sounds very interesting, Jake. What?
No, I just was reminded by Sanford that one of the things we are requesting in the coming fiscal year for UPTV is for organizations that are outside the strict city of Urbana, strictly the city of Urbana, to cover the costs of UPTV recording their meetings for broadcast. Which would involve the Urbana Free Library, the Urbana Park District, and the Urbana School District. The amounts are $942 for the Library and Park District, and since the school district provides their own staff, it would be $482. It has nothing to do with broadcasting the programs. It's simply the amount of staff time that is required to make these programs. So that's just what we're proposing for the
And to
coming
clarify,
fiscal year.
those are annual amounts.
Yeah.
So $942 for the year.
Yeah. And have you talked to them about those?
Yes, we have.
Okay. And they're totally opposed, or they're okay with it?
They accept the fee. I mean,
Okay, good.
we are paying people hourly wages to go and do that work.
Right.
And they acknowledge that it is for their benefit. Now, there is going to be, I believe, a attempt to build this into a student exercise. I think the school district already uses students to record.
As of the last 2 meetings.
Yeah. So it's an opportunity for education and really some good hands-on learning. And in an ideal world, there will come a day when we don't need to build them at all because they'll be self-sufficient. But in the interim, as Jake noted, there is still some post-processing and things like that we do for them that require our staff time as well.
Seems reasonable. Does anyone have any comments that they'd like to share?
I just have a question. I may have missed any comment as I was walking in late. Is there anything to share in relationship to the operations of UPTV or PEG in general as to what has gone on, anything with the latest FCC things going on in Washington? Is there anything related to us?
Well, I did mention, I don't know if you were here when I mentioned the CAP Act. It's about to be reintroduced. This is a legislation that would enable PEG stations to utilize the PEG money received from the cable companies for operations as well as for capital. We're restricted by law to use that money for capital, which is why a lot of PEG stations have lots of equipment and nobody there to run it. So it attempts to address that. It also attempts to address things. There's something else. Oh, HD listings or HD channels is, I think, addressed in the CAP Act, and listings and channel guides, which is not universally available on some of the cable carriers at PEG stations. And that should be reintroduced, I guess, I've been told this morning, within a matter of days. So I'll try to keep the commission up to date on that as well. The net neutrality doesn't, I don't think, affect us so much. ITV3 has announced a tentative program schedule that includes us, but we have not been, we haven't had any communication directly from them about delivering our signal to them yet. So,
were there any details on the HD part of the CAP Act?
I have it in an email that was sent to me this morning, and I'll distribute that to the commissioners later this afternoon when I have a chance to email you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Does that answer? Okay, good.
I would suggest that if you're willing to accept public, the public's, if they have questions about the CAP Act, to send them your way so that we can get as many voices from our community, hopefully in favor of it. If it turns out to be a good act.
Yeah, I'll talk to Jason about maybe linking to the American Community Television site, especially the page that deals with the CAP Act. It has the full text of the bill.
Great. So. Could you give an email address that people can reach out to if they have questions about it?
UPTV at urbanaillinois.us. The American Community Television website is, I think it's AC Television. I don't have it in front of me, I'm afraid. But if they get a hold of us here at UPTV, we can certainly send them to that site. Or they can just Google American Community Television and get there that way.
Excellent.
Or the search engine of their choice.
Right. Any other comments?
Oh, one other thing. We did record cooking shows, and they're in post-production now.
Oh,
so
excellent.
I wanted to remind.
Hearing no further comments, I will announce our next meeting dates, which are June 12th at noon here in the Urbana City Council chambers, followed by September 11th, December 11th, and March 11th. And those are all on our website.
Yeah, Peter, we will probably have to reschedule the June meeting because neither Jason and I nor I will be available that day.
Okay.
So I will contact the commissioners very soon. I would suggest a doodle poll, and then we'll publish that information when we have an appropriate time.
Okay, so those wishing to attend our next meeting, the throngs wishing to attend our next meeting, should stay tuned at the Urbana or UPTV website.
Or the yeah, exactly.
UrbanaPublicTelevision.org. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?